Good morning. Welcome back to Passionate World Talk Radio Network, a wholly owned subsidiary of Global Media Network, LLC. Educate, enlighten, entertain. And on today's episode, we're going to provide you with 5 tips to stay warm during a winter power outage. And here at Consumer Reports by Paul Hope, who says that he's gathered expert tips on staying warm and safe at home during a major winter storm, from ceiling leaks to buying and running a generator. And I will provide you a link to click on so you can read the rest of the story at Consumer Reports. So, we've already had one bad storm where about 4 to 5 million people are out of power from Texas all the way up to New England, and especially around the coastal areas, which is what the storm for this weekend is doing. And also the goose eggs being laid in certain states of this country. They're going as low as 50 below zero. And we all know our power grid needs some attention, that everybody seems to ignore, that the present power grid is inadequate for the demands that our society is now placing on it. And instead of addressing the issue, everybody in Washington, D.C. are closing their eyes and saying, make it go away, make it go away. But it's not going away. It's getting worse. The biggest threat facing us in today's society are power outages. The lack of heat or the lack of cool. However, there are ways to keep warm, whether or not you can afford a generator. You either do the old-fashioned way, go out to a shed, fill it up with diesel or gasoline, start it up, and keep your most important machinery running, like your refrigerator or a freezer. I'm not going to say TV, but I do know digitally, yes, you need to stay connected in some way. But there are other ways to survive the cold. And as I already stated, some alternative heating systems pose their own threats, such as fire and carbon monoxide poisoning from your fireplace. But again, there are precautions you can take to minimize these dangers. So here are 5 tips to stay warm and safe during a power outage. 1, if you can afford and get a generator, it's not too late to look for a portable generator. During the emergency, they usually run out immediately. However, you can always look into it beforehand. I saved some grocery money, and this was many years ago, but I did manage to buy a generator from Lowe's for $350. I must say it has paid itself in gold. Some major retailers have told us they're able to relocate the supply of generators to effective areas as little as a day or 2. They suggest you show up early at the store to grab one before they're sold out. If you're fortunate to find a portable generator, Consumer Reports recommends that you use their guide to get it up and running quickly and safely. And once the outage is over, then hire an electrician to install a transfer switch or interlock device so that the generator can power the entire circuits in your home, which is safer and more helpful. If you can't find a portable generator at home, center like Lowe's or Depot, or a power generator dealer, try looking for a recreational generator at places like Dick's Sporting Goods and Walmart, or even at a local RV or boat dealership. These smaller generators aren't really designed for power outages, but their output of 1,800 to 2,000 watts is still enough power, a large space heater, and charge cell phones, which may be enough to get you through the outage. So, Consumer Report says never run a generator in an enclosed space. Always run it at least 20 feet from your home. And 3, always direct exhaust away from your home. You want to stay in a southern facing room. Get out your compass, folks. On a sunny day, even without heat, you can maximize your warmth inside by gathering in a room with a southern facing windows. They agree with me. Use a compass app on your phone or a real compass, if you have one, to find a room that fits the bill. Then keep your family in this shared space as much as possible. The collective heat generated by your bodies will also keep the space warmer. 3, seal window and door leaks. Keeping warm air in and cold air out is crucial, and the process is the same for both. Seal leaks around windows and doors using caulk or weather stripping if you can. If you can't get those materials, look for duct tape and clear plastic sheeting. Clear lets sunlight in through the windows, which helps warm the room. If you can't find regular plastic sheeting, try the paint alley or the paint aisle at a home center, which often has clear plastic drop cloths. For drafty doors, use draft guards. If you can't find them, old towels and blankets are fine. That's how I stuff up my 48-year-old windows, because that's how old the building is that I live in. Some leaks are obvious while others aren't. Look for subtle leaks using a stick of incense or a candle. Carefully move the candle or incense near problem spots like windows. If you see the flame flicker or smoke from the incense quickly disappear through a window, it's a sign that you have a leak. Number 4, use a fireplace or another heat source. If you're fortunate enough to have a well-maintained wood stove, use it. Never go to bed with a fire burning, and keep the area immediately around the fireplace or stove clear of any flammable materials. Keep kids and pets, especially babies, away too. If you don't have a fireplace, consider using a portable propane heater, but make sure you use it properly. Read the directions. Consumer Reports only recommends using a portable propane heater designed for indoor use in an emergency, says John Galafoy, CR's Associate Director of Product Testing, and you should only use these tools if you're able to follow crucial safety instructions. In addition to the directions in the owner's manuals, these heaters should be used only on a hard, fireproof surface and in an area free of kids, pets, and flammable materials. Make sure that you have working smoke and carbon monoxide alarms on every level of your house, and that you selected a heater that's suitable for indoor use. These heaters produce carbon monoxide, so you'll need to keep a window open a small amount to allow for safe ventilation. Check the owner's manual for specifics, which will vary depending on the output of the heater. Never leave a portable heater running unattended or during any period when you're asleep. 5. Camp out indoors. If you can't get your hands on a generator or a heater, consider camping out inside your home. A tent and sleeping bags can help keep you and any family members warm and opposed to one heavy layer, and make sure to stay dry. Even sweat from exercising can raise your risk of developing hypothermia. Now, the best portable generators to power your home. These workhorses provide 7,000 to more than 8,000 watts of power, but they usually weigh upward of 200 pounds. They're what you want to use and power most of all of your home's essentials during a prolonged outage. If you get one of these generators, you'll probably want to have an electrician install a transfer switch, which allows you to plug the generator into your electrical panel and power hardwire appliances like a water heater or a well pump. Best portable generator for small houses. These mid-sized generators provide 2,500 to 4,900 plus watts of power and weigh about 80 to 180 pounds. They pack plenty of power for a boat, an RV, or a camper, and they can power a few household essentials using heavy-duty extension cords. Note both the price and the power output when you're shopping. Inverter models that deliver modest amounts of power can be pricier than higher input traditional portables. Prices range quite widely from around $400 to $2,400. Thank you very much for joining us this morning and learning what you need to do to protect yourself for when the power goes out. No matter who's at fault, you need to keep warm. An additional hint is if you have a tent, set it up in your small space and have your children, your younger children and older adults sit inside the tent, because that will store in more heat with all those extra bodies. I also suggest you go over to our blog at passionandworldtalkradio.com/blog, read the summary, listen to this week's podcast, and most importantly, click on the link to Consumer Reports and read the rest of the story so you can prepare yourself for the winter vortex that apparently is going to reset temperatures and snowstorms for February. Thank you very much for listening, and remember, keep calm. Don't panic. Remember, adults set the tone for the rest of the household, including your pets, unless you own a goldfish. If you do have a pet, take your pet, dog or cat with you to bed. Everyone knows they are great heat generators. Thank you very much, and keep safe.